Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here, and today we're taking a look at a trick-taking card game that is designed to be taken with you. This is TonTon. This is a fairly straightforward trick-taking card game. Players are going to be dealt some cards, you're going to be playing cards to the center of the table, following suit, that whole thing. And you are trying to collect cards, but not go over a certain number in the values you are collecting. I'll show you in just 1 second. So that's the main twist in the game. The other one, of course, being that this comes in this elongated magnetic clasp box with these skinny little cards in it, some clips to keep track of scoring, these little plastic clips that you'll put on some of those cards, and a small rules leaflet. And of course you should, close this up, clip it onto your backpack or something and take it with you. And sometimes the cards will slip out between the lid and the side here. So let's go ahead and take a look at how the game works. We'll come on back after that, and I'll tell you what I think of this idea here. The game is going to be played over 3 rounds, and at the end of those 3 rounds, whoever has the highest victory point total is going to be the winner of the game. Players are going to track their victory points on these cards here with the clips, and on the back they continue going up all the way up to 30 victory points. So they are at 0 right now. I'm putting the clip on 1, but they should be at 0. The deck is going to be shuffled and dealt out. The deck is changed depending on the number of players, so we're playing here for a 5-player game. And then we are going to reveal the top card of this scoring pile to denote what the rule that we are trying to hit this round is. In this case, what this means is that players want to avoid having a total showing in front of them that is 12 or higher. If you do that, you bust at the end of the round and you don't score or qualify for any of these positions. So you want 11. Ideally, if you have 11, you are likely to be number 1. That gets you 10 victory points. So that's how that works. The start player is going to be the one who has the 8 of red in the red suit, which happens to be this player over here. So we are going to give them the start player card, and they're going to play a card to the table. They can play any card, but we are going to say they are indeed playing that red 8. And every other player around the table is going to play a card to the center as well. They must play red if they have it, such as this player here, but if they do not, then they can play any card they want to. And so that player played a 2, this player is going to play a 4, and the 4 happens to have a special ability associated with it, and that is, whoever plays a 4 takes the start player card. If someone plays a 4 after your 4, then they take it from you, but this player is going to hang on to it for now. Then this player is going to play, but they have no red. So they are going to play this 5 in green. And then this player also happens to have no red, and they are going to play a 5 in purple. Once that's done, we check who the winner of this trick is, and it's always the highest number. The color will not matter for this part. You must follow suit, but the winner is simply the highest number. And if there was a tie, let's say this 8 was not an 8, it was a 1, then this 5 would be winning up to here, but then this 5 would win it, because if they are tied, later is stronger and better. So this player is going to win, and they're going to collect all of these cards and sort them in front of themselves by color. The lowest number would be on top of a stack, like so, and then the other ones begin their own stacks. This player right now happens to be at 12 victory points, or a total of 12, not 12 victory points. That's bad. They want to make sure that number drops a little bit, okay? So it's important for them to win some more, but to make sure that what they do win is in green or in purple and drops that 5 down to something lower. Like I said, you always, when you take new cards, the lowest one, if you took multiples, will go on top. However, if they end up taking a green 8, and that's the only green they take, it will go on top of that green 5. Alright, so we are going to continue with this player here leading the next card, and they are going to lead a red 3 there. And don't forget, this player had no red, so they are going to play a 6 in green. Now, the 6s are the other card that have a special ability. Don't forget, if you play a 4, you take the start player card here. If you play a 6 and score a 6 at the end of the game, so for every one you take, you are going to get 1 victory point. So this player, as of right now, is winning. 6 is the strongest card on the table. This player also had no red, and they are going to play a 6 in blue. They figure they might be able to take this, and if they do so, they will take both those 6s for 2 victory points. Now, this player over here does not really want to be winning this because they are worried about these numbers being so high. So they are going to play just under it. They're going to play a 5 in red. And then this player over here decides, you know, this is worth it. I'm going to play and take this with a final 6 because they ran out of red themselves. They had the one that they played earlier. So they are going to win. They collect all these in front of themselves, sorted by, as I said, the different colors. They've got a tremendous total now, which is not great, but they're hoping to reduce that. This is going to continue until the end of the round. So let me go ahead and fast forward this and show you how the scoring's going to go. Now the round is over, and the players are going to figure out their score for this round and tally that up. Be aware that even though every player gets dealt 8 cards at the beginning of the game, in a 5-player game like this, they only play 7 cards. So the last one is not played. You will have 1 leftover card at the end of the round. You can just set that aside. So the scoring happens in 2 parts. Scoring based on this, and then earning 1 victory point for every 6 you took. Those 2 are independent things. This player over here has exactly 12. They are going to bust. This player over here has tons of points, and they are definitely going to bust. This player here has a 7 and a 3 on top of their piles for 10 points. This player has a 3 and a 1, 4 points, 3 points. So, following the rule that you cannot hit 12 or go above, this player got closest without going over, then this player, and then this player over here. So that is 10 victory points. That's what first place there gets. So they move their marker to 10. This player gets second place, which is 6. And then this player over here gets third place, which is 4 victory points. And once that's done, then everybody can pick up their cards, look through them, check for 6s. That player is done. They have no 6s. This player here took no 6s. This player here has none. And this player here has none. That means that this player, even though they bust by quite a bit, they took all of them. So they are going to go through them, make sure indeed they have 1, they have 2, they have 3, they have 4. There you go. They have 4 of them. And the red 6 was not played then. And they are going to get their 4 victory points. So as it stands right now, 10 victory points. These 2 players, this player has 6. These 2 players are tied at 4. This player would have theirs completely off like that. We shuffle up the cards. We deal them out again. We are going to remove this scoring opportunity and reveal another one. In this case, you are going to try to have low scores in front of you. The way you bust for this round is if you hit 5 or lower as a total, you are going to bust, but you want to be low. You want to be as close to 5 as you can without going lower than that. So the best thing you can get, a 6, a 7 would be good, an 8 would be good. And then same thing, you're going to have another one here that's very similar to the 12 you saw, but the threshold is 9. You bust on 9. And then they have a couple here that you may choose to play with, but there's no reason not to. And they work similarly, but they use the colors to know what you count. So, for example, this one's pretty straightforward. Just figure out the totals on top of your piles, every color. Don't go above 10, and then, or don't hit 10. And then with this one, you are counting blue and green as negative to your total. So, a 2 in yellow and a 6 in purple, that's 8. But then 3 in green, you would subtract from that 8, so you're at 5, and so on. So there you go. Again, you only use 3 of these. So if you don't want to deal with the strange color ones, you can just do the regular 3, or you can shuffle all 5 and do any 3 you want to. That's all there is to it. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of the game. Alright, so that is TonTon here. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Okay, we're going to start off with thematic ties. This kind of has a theme and some sort of pseudo-mythological theme. I'm going based on the images on the cards. There's also a Viking ship, apparently, on the cover. I'm not sure what they were going for. It's not explained anywhere. They don't talk about it. Does it do any harm? No. Does it help any? Not really. No. So it sort of just gets a middle-of-the-road rating here. The aesthetics, I think, do hurt ultimately. There's a few reasons for that. The clips on the cards feel chintzy. They are a fine way to keep score when you don't have a lot of space on which to do so, but it still doesn't feel great. It does not feel quality when you are doing it. It feels like you're making do. The cards have that strange shape. They're very long. They're also very thick cards. They do not shuffle well whatsoever. And I think the game intends for you to wash the cards, to just lay them all out and sort of just do that like you would dominoes or something. I hate doing that myself. I've done it for this game. Seems to work out okay, but I wish I could just shuffle the cards, so the shape does not help. There's a few things like that usability issues, as you saw the box there allows for things to slid out from, in between the lid and the box. If it's slightly warped even, it will allow for things to shake their way out of there. So I would not clip this onto a backpack, for example, on the outside and then forget about it and just go on walking. I feel like I would lose things from inside the box and not realize it. So there you go. Replayability. It's okay. I do wish the expansion, what do they call them? The advanced mission cards were more advanced or at least more diverse, more distinct. You get 2 of those. They are kind of the same thing, except on one of them, 2 colors scored negatively instead of as positive points. And your score is just the total of the cards that are sitting on top. That's fine, but I wanted something a little more oomphy, a little more interesting. So the replayability, while the game is engaging, I'll talk about that in one moment, and I think there is some interest here to find. Replayability is not very high. Game length is great. 3 rounds really works well. Lets you come back from a bad round. It does not outstay its welcome. I like the game length here. Ease of play. And this touches on a couple of things I've mentioned already. It's inconveniently small. The icons on the 4s and the 6s are basically pointless. Both of those cards have special abilities. And there is technically a little, around the number, there are these little chevrons on the 4. That means you should take the star player marker. There's a little laurel on the 6. You should get a point for that at the end of the round. They're barely noticeable. I did not know they were there until I played a few times and I realized, oh, this is not quite the same as this too. There's a little thing there. That must mean that. Either put it on there clearly or don't put it on there. But this, in between is just kind of pointless. So that I was not particularly happy with. The whole thing's kind of annoying to play. It's so fiddly and so tiny and is it being kind of cute worth that? I think not in this case. Lastly, tactics and strategy. Like I said, there are some interesting choices here. This is a cool concept for a trick-taking game, and it works pretty well. The card you should play is not obvious in this trick-taking game. I like that. A lot of trick-taking games out there, when it comes to you, the card you should play is you either have no choice. That could happen in this one too, because you have a single suited card. But assuming there are possibilities, the one you should play is so obvious that it becomes more an activity, a socializing thing. This I don't think is that. There are choices in this. If somebody else is going to win over there, with an 8 in something, and you play the 1 in the same suit, they're only going to take 1 point. That 1 has to go on top. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe you want to play the 5 instead of the 1. Make sure they end up with the 5 on top of the deck. Bust them. Or vice versa, right? I mean, there are choices here to think about. Unfortunately, they chose to wrap that game up into a package that looks like this because it's a neat gimmick. In concept, I agree. I think this is a neat gimmick. This looks cool. When first seeing this, you think, that's neat. I can clip this game onto something and take it with me. Nice. It's cool. It looks neat. It looks engaging, right? But I think it does suffer a little bit because of that gimmick. So, let me talk about my bottom line, which is going to mention that. Bottom line. The main gimmick here, being small enough to clip on and carry around, does more harm than good, and the game could have used more variety. This is going to get a 5 out of 10 from me. I would love to have seen this or see it now reissued in a regular standard box. More variety, nicer cards, regular size cards. I think that could be a really cool trick-taking game. As it is right now, though, as a gimmick, maybe I could recommend it, a slightly flawed gimmick. But other than that, there are simply so many trick-taking games that unless the gameplay here absolutely blew you away from the overview, then I think you can safely skip this one. So, there you go. That's it for me, everybody. Thanks for checking this out. I'll see you on the next one.
Thanks so much for watching another Dice Tower video. If you enjoy our videos, subscribe to the channel for more fun, comprehensive board game coverage. Also, consider joining us at one of our events. Come to Dice Tower Retreat, a small, intimate gathering where gaming is king. Join us for Dice Tower Cruise, the largest board game cruise. Attend Dice Tower West in Las Vegas for gaming fun on the West Coast, or Dice Tower East in Orlando in sunny Florida. Dice Tower Conventions, the friendliest gaming conventions on Earth. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower.